tech issues or what? Honestly. Question is. Hello, are you there? Hello? Hello? Hello! I just ran up the stairs. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear us?
Yeah, you're okay, upside down, you're sideways at the moment. You okay? Sorry about that. Fun and games again on the techie. I need a VA. I need a.
Nope, upside down. Okay.
Hello. So I've had to go onto my mobile because my other mobile just wasn't having it, and the laptop won't let me add people. So I apologise.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can indeed. I can hear you.
Oh, we're gonna have to readjust that because I'm sitting down.
That's okay.
Camera for a second. Put a little bit more forward. I'm trying this. Oh, that should be okay. Do I keep going in? Yeah. Okay. But I'm here with my sister. I'm gonna have her jump on camera with me. Hi.
Hello. Nice to see you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Sorry again, technical difficulties, but my name is Eva. So proud to be a publicist for the absolutely wonderful psychic coach Samantha Jayne. This is
Hello.
This is brought back by popular demand. So we actually have questions that people have reached out to us with since the last one.
Right. So, okay. Yeah.
I think we're going to start with some of these, if that's okay.
Yeah. Hopefully, I can help.
So the first one is, do you have any advice for empaths and how they separate their own emotions from other people's energies that they pick up on?
There is a need to really know who you are. And there is this need to know who you are energetically as well. And I've just explained this in a mediumship class, that what happens when you're an empath, or if you're because if you're an empath, then you must have some level of psychic ability. The two go hand in hand. All right, because you have to be aware of energy. And so what you have to come to understand is you have to know who you are, how you feel, learn your own energy, and also pay attention to the energy of other people. Because what we find is that you simply do have to step away from people sometimes to not be in their company and things like that if they have an effect on you. Now, if obviously we can't bin our children, bin our parents, you know. So what we tend to do is learn to ground, okay, and also to bubble up is the technical term that we call it. Have you heard of that, Avery? Bubble up?
I have not, no.
Right, okay. So if you were going to go into somewhere, so like, for example, for myself, if I was going into a big supermarket at the moment, for me, that's energetic hell. Because you've got the energy of all the customers who are moaning about the price of baked beans. Then you've got all the husbands or kids that have been dragged there that didn't want to be there. Then you've got the staff on minimum wage who are fed up as well. And then for someone like me, you've also got all their deceased relatives floating around as well. So it's a lot of energy. So what you need to do is to learn to bubble up, which is basically take a few moments to ground yourself and center yourself in your own body. And you would close your eyes, take some deep breaths, and you would imagine a ball of white light above your head. And then we breathe it in through the crown, and then we extend it into the whole of the body and out beyond the body to put us in a bubble of light. And that just gets the negativity to bounce off our aura instead of our aura absorbing it. Does that make sense?
You can do that whenever?
Yeah, whenever. Yeah, absolutely. If you know you're going into a group of people that drain the life out of you, but you've got to attend, do it then.
Because Aubrey is an empath. So
right.
I'm told. Right. So she, I guess, kind of struggled separating what she's feeling as opposed to what everybody else around her is feeling. And that's kind of my self, you know, so you should try that.
No, I need to do that. Because I can't tell, like, where I end and, like, other people's energies begin. They just kind of all blend into one. So I definitely...
Yeah, so again, that comes from just getting to know who you are as a person. And instead, and the question to ask yourself each time is, does this feel right or does this not feel right? Because if it doesn't feel right, it's not yours. So send it out, send it on its way and ignore it. Don't react to it, and don't respond to it, and also don't own it because it's not yours. You understand that?
Yeah, for sure. I needed to work on that, for sure.
Yeah, it's practice. Like anything, it is practice, because it's mastering your own energy field.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what we have to do first in anything. And also with yourself, it's like if you are empathic, and if you, then the odds are high you have psychic ability, or that you, hi Rachel, or that you have mediumistic ability. And I've just been explaining this as well. So funny, and I should have been on my class a minute ago. We could have done all this in there. Should have logged you in. But it's like, you know, we have to come to understand what is ours and what is somebody else's. And what we get when we're empathic and we're mediumistic or psychic, what can happen is we have sudden intense anxiety or intense paranoia, rage, anger, and it is not our own. Yeah. It's often, it can be the personality of the spirit that's bringing it, who's jumped or stepped into your aura field, that is giving you that anger, that rage feeling perhaps, or sadness. The anxiety comes from something stepping in your aura and you knowing it's not you on a subconscious level. It's almost like a panic about what's going on.
That's great.
Make sense?
Yeah. That really resonates.
And as always, if anybody has questions, feel free to drop them in and we'll get them answered for you. But we're going to move on to the next one. And there is a woman who reached out regarding some nightmares that she's been having to the point where she can't even sleep anymore. She's wondering if there's something to do before bed that will kind of calm that down or make it so she can finally get some sleep again.
Yeah, one of the things that I would say to you, nightmares, if you're an anxiety-based person, or you just are experiencing anxiety in your daily physical life, again, if you're an empath at the moment with all this COVID baloney and all the rest of it going on, then you're going to pick up on like global anxiety. It's a very tough time. It has been, certainly for empaths. So what you need to be aware of is that when you go to sleep, when you're in bed and your mind can drop, then the your anxiety and your fear can rise, and it can play out in your mental state as nightmares. So it's it's not real. It's the body's way of releasing anxiety that you've been pushing down and pushing down.
Wow, that's interesting.
That's
all right. Yeah. So I always say, don't pay any attention to the nightmares particularly. If you're struggling to sleep full stop, then one of the things I would say to you to do before you go to bed is to have what we call a salt bath, which is literally getting in a bath with a few handfuls of Himalayan rock salt thrown in the water. It's what we do as healers. It's the quickest way to cleanse through the aura and remove negativity. And then we would put under the pillow, you could put under your pillow moonstone.
Okay, cool, crystals.
Yeah, moonstone, and then another one, or by the side of your bed, or another one would be an amethyst. Yeah, so because that just can help with sleep states. I'd also say to you, if you've been having nightmares in the room, then smudge the room. Open the windows, smudge, get rid of that residual energy from the nightmares and the fear state. Yeah?
Perfect. We actually have a question here. How can you tell someone around you is dark energy, and can you do anything to keep them away from you?
Right, I need to know if we're talking about the living or the dead. Are we talking about the living or dead? I need to answer that.
The
The living? We're talking about the living. It's one of those you have to go with your gut energy. You know, what I say about the living is we have what we call negatives that walk this earth to kind of just be doom and gloom and pull, you know, light workers, light bearers off path, making their lives harder than they need be. And there's a need to learn to not engage with these people. It's a bit like a narcissist. I mean, the only way you win with a narcissist is to walk away, because you can never, ever win the battle with a narcissist. It's the same kind of energy with what I would call a negative and a living negative entity. That is their purpose in this life. That's what they're here to do. But it's your choice whether you engage with them or not. But the other thing as well is that a lot of this work is done through the mind. So be mindful of where your thoughts go. If you're constantly thinking and stressing and worrying about that person, then you're forming a connection with them and you're actually inviting them in. So, you know, take care of you is my advice. Yeah.
So, as far as these dark souls go, or dark energies, are these people born that way, or is it something that's kind of acquired as time goes, or through trauma, or?
I believe that with some it's their path and it's their purpose, and they're here to clear karmic energy. And their karmic energy is to work through their own negativity. I also believe there's some people put here just kind of like, you know, to stop good happening in this world by getting in the way of those that are doing good. You know, haters will always hate.
But what about really dark energies like serial killers and all that crazy stuff?
Are we talking about, again, living or dead?
Still living.
Living.
Still living. All right. So again, it's like you have to trust that sixth sense, that knowing not to go there, not to engage. We've all done it. We've met someone, we've had a gut feeling, we've gone, no, you're just being silly. And we've still gone there, and then we've paid a price, haven't we?
Right.
Yeah. And again, it's like I said at the beginning, you've got to know who you are. You've got to listen to your soul, your gut intuition, and act on it.
Right.
Yeah, because otherwise you're the one that's doing it. You are the one that's subjecting yourself to these things, not that other person, not that other entity. It is you.
Right. So if
Make
somebody
sense?
is essentially dark, can they turn light throughout time?
Not particularly.
Right.
Not particularly. And you wouldn't want to be part of that path to do so either. Yeah, it's not, why would you choose that, you know?
All right. Okay. So we'll move on to the next one. Oh, I love this question. What is your belief on these really popular urban legends? So fairies, Bigfoot, elves, Loch Ness Monster, all that fun stuff. Is that stuff real, or is it something we just put energy to so we see it, or what's going on with that?
Which one should we do first? Fairies? Should we do fairies?
Let's do fairies, yeah.
Fairies, okay. I actually do believe in elfin, and
Okay.
I would put fairies in with elfin. Okay, and the reason and you know, it's like we had famous photos here, didn't we, that in the UK donkeys years ago that what turned out to be faked, but the women still are adamant they saw the fairies. But it's like, I do believe in elfin, and if you've been in woodland and you see flashes of light and things like that, there's a lot of people that engage with elfin and work with elfin. It's very it's quite paganistic as well as the elfin, what we call elfin energy, the fairies, all of that kind of energy. We see all sorts, but your mind has to be open to it. And it's usually a playful energy, and it's to do with nature and playfulness as well as part of that.
What about like Bigfoot?
No. You watch too much telly. It's a man in a suit. What, sorry?
Is that where that
Scotland
originates?
or something?
Yeah, Scotland.
The what? Loch Ness?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe something originally many, many moons ago, but you can't beat a bit of tourism, can you? Well, you can at the minute. No, say that again, sorry.
What about mermaids?
Mermaids, again, I think that's all sort of mystical, magical creatures, and I think it's just stories that have been told over time. They say the mermaids are actually the result of the sailors. Is it called scurvy when you don't eat enough fruit and veg? They put it down to hallucinations of that, didn't they? And I think that I think they used to tell tales for protection and things like that. So,
I think we had a question regarding if
okay.
somebody haunted house or cemetery, could they pick up an attachment and take it on their journey with them by accident?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But you have to be open to it. You tend to have to be on a lower level and be negative, have a
Okay.
moment of fear. If you're stood there in a paranormal event and you're terrified, you're going to have a fun weekend. Yeah? Because it's like, oh, I found a friend. Whereas if you're high vibing, it's very hard for that attachment to take place. And
Sure.
again, it's one of these things. There's a lot of TV stuff that has gone that way where they're constantly provoking and aggravating and trying to get a violent response. I don't agree with any of that.
Okay.
It's disrespectful. It is disrespectful. If that was your granny in spirit world, you would not want her to be in that experience. And whether she's trapped, stuck, or whatever, whoever she was, you wouldn't wish that on somebody. People need to learn to be far more respectful of these energies and entities, if they want to have respect in their own living world as well. We get back how we are, we get back what we put out, and that is to everything, the living, animals, plants. We're seeing the earth's response to when we started to be a bit kinder to it over recent months and not batter it. Yeah, there is a lot of that um, at play. So I think you have to be mindful when you go into the paranormal things about your own mindset and your own behavior. Because if you're
Right.
going to go in and provoke, then you've asked for it. So quite frankly, yeah, take it home with you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Michelle is wondering how she can communicate to a spirit that she feels is close to her.
Really, that is something that you need to learn to do, you need to sort of train to do so that you're safe in that communication. But if you're just doing it generally sat at home and you feel that there's someone around, you can always ask them to make a noise, ask them to flash the lights, do something to let you know they're there. And then, like all spirit communication work, it begins with feeling and feeling what they are trying to communicate to you. And that
Sure.
is where we would begin. But it's definitely something you should look at training in rather
Okay.
than dabble. Yeah,
By
because you don't know what's communicating with you.
board, correct?
Pardon, sorry?
Never use a Ouija board, correct?
No, no. You have to understand that. I would only ever use a Ouija board if it was brand new, sealed, and had total history of it.
Okay.
Yeah? You have to understand that a Ouija board is a gateway. You are opening up a gateway to whatever. I'll tell you a story from a client. I don't think she'll be watching, but I won't mention names. I had a client come to me in her 30s for healing and for clearing. And I picked up that she had attachment. And when I went in to clear the attachment, what came to light was she had this lady in a satin dress attached to her, and I actually heard her come into the room. The swish of a dress on the floor. Do you know what I mean by that? Of a long dress. It turned out that when her sister was 12 years of age and she was something like 5 or 6, her sister had arranged to go round to her friends for them to have a go on a Ouija board. And her mum, as she left the house to go round to the friends, her mum has said, you can only go if you take your sister with you, this client. So when the sister got there, because she didn't want the younger sister to tell the mother what they were doing, they sat her underneath the table. And she spent the next 25 years with an attachment that haunted her. Every time she closed her eyes at night, she heard the swish of that dress. Yeah,
God.
always aware. Because they
Years?
sat the child under the table, in the path, in the gateway.
Wow. That's
Because it was
insane.
kids playing.
So did she eventually get rid herself of that attachment?
Yeah, I did that for her 25 years later.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why I say don't take these things lightly. I mean, there was a point, I don't know if they still do, there was a point where Toys R Us were selling them.
Oh my God.
I mean, pink versions, way. But you know, it's crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy because you just don't know what you're bringing in. And we do have pretenders. We have spirit that come in and make out they're your granny, and they're not your granny in that kind of scenario because they want to come in and have some fun with you and scare you.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would say absolutely not.
Question. If somebody believes that they have repressed memories or things that happened to them in their earlier years and they don't know if they're true, if they're just, their mind working, how can they decipher reality from a mind game or figure out what actually happened to them?
Could go for hypnosis. Go somewhere and have a hypnosis done. I would go and see a hypnosis. If they, and obviously there are people out there, fabulous people that do past life regression hypnosis. Yeah, I've had all of that done. I've done that about 4 times now. I absolutely love it.
Okay.
The purpose of a past life regression is to show you what is playing out this moment in your present life and needs to be healed and shifted. That's the purpose of past life regression in my views. But I would recommend going for hypnosis on that.
Okay.
Fully qualified hypnosis.
And they just kind of guide you through your own past?
Yeah, because they would take you back to whatever age you're seeing yourself in that memory that you're getting and build the picture with you to work out if that is real or not.
Okay.
And end it, bring it to an end.
Sure. So kind of going off of that, when you are reading somebody, can you see their entire past and their entire future, or how does that work?
No. I personally, I don't work that way. I'm not a fortune teller.
Sure.
I work as a life guidance reader because I'm a big believer that we shouldn't particularly care where you're going to be in 3 years if you're not going to get through the next 3 minutes. Yeah. And, if you tell people, you can change your path, can't you? If a fortune teller tells you, well, you're going to win the lottery in 1922, you might not go for the job this year because you can't, it's no need. I'm going to win the lottery next year. I don't need to work. Yeah, but you need to work to buy the money, to buy the ticket, to buy the lottery ticket. Do you know what I mean? Or be on your way to work and nip in a shop and buy the lottery ticket. You're going to take yourself off path. The only sort of precognition work that I do in my readings is to help you to see some why you have to go through things.
Okay.
Or what is building and where this is heading. If you do X or if you don't do X, that kind of thing is how I would describe it.
So if somebody wants to know if they're going to have babies, if they're going to get divorced, married.
Yeah, I'm not your woman. Because I don't want to know either. That is what I would say to you.
Okay. How can somebody find out which of their chakras is blocked or having some problems?
Well, you'd start to have physical symptoms.
Okay.
You'd start to have physical symptoms around within the body, around the area of where that chakra is.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So like if your third eye is blocked, you're going to start to have problems with your vision and you're going to start to have problems. You're going to start to have headaches and things like that.
Do you have any advice for a blocked chakra?
Go to a healer, or you could go on YouTube and do a healing meditation for that specific chakra to try to work that energy in. If you've not got the resources to go to a healer, you could be doing things like that. You could also put the crystals on you in relevance to those chakras as well and do some work like that.
Speaking of that, I just thought of this question because you said the YouTube videos. In regards to that, there's a lot of like subliminal videos on YouTube, like weight loss subliminals to play while you sleep and these weird songs and stuff. Is that legit, or is that just for
Some of them are. It can work, you know. It can work. I had a funny 5 minutes a couple of years ago because I can't believe I'm going to admit this. I did a meditation through YouTube, fell asleep, and when I woke up, it had gone into autoplay and played something else, and I was on the tail end of a hypnosis gastric band. Well, I have to tell you that for 2 weeks I could barely eat. So much so, I had to consult my hypnotherapist. And it was like, well, if it carries on for another week, you'll have to come to me and I'll undo it. But that did work. And I didn't even sign up for that one. So I think it's like everything, isn't it? Like hypnosis for stop smoking. If there's something in you that has resistance to that achievement, then it won't work, will it?
Right.
Yeah.
Your mind will override the programming that's gone in.
How do we tell if it's going to work or not? Just trial and error?
Trial and error, just trial and error.
Okay.
And know that you're ready for it before you waste money on it. Know that you really want it.
You said something about meditation. Do you have any tips on how to get better at meditation? Because I can last like 2 minutes. It's like
2 minutes. So you're sitting in your head. You're still living through your head. You're living through the mind. Start with breath work. Go back to the beginning and just start with breath work. Okay. Learn to breathe properly. Learn to ground. Drop into my academy. There's some stuff on there. But it's like there is this need to go back to basics and learn to breathe properly. So many people don't breathe properly. And then when they meditate, they struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, so that's what I would say. You go back to the beginning. Hi, Scott. You okay?
I want to go back to what you were talking about, going through hypnosis to that. So I don't think it's something to recommend everybody though. It's something that you really take seriously. I mean, it's something I went through in my life, and it's one of those doors that once I opened, I couldn't shut. And it's not everyone's prepared for that. I think a lot of people think they're gonna go through like regression therapy and they're going to come out feeling wonderful. It's the best thing they ever did. It's quite the opposite sometimes. You actually think about sad and describe who your character are. So it's one of those things I think a lot of people like a Ouija board. People hear it like, all right, let's play with a Ouija board. This too, like, oh cool, it's a hypnosis, let's do it. No, I don't recommend it for everybody at all. It's like a handful. Like, you have to really be sure you want to take that journey.
Yeah, and that's why I say make sure you're ready, make sure you want the outcome before you go and sign on the dotted line and go through the experience, because it's all healing, it's all shifting, it's all healing. It can reveal layers of what's been suppressed and things like that. Just like any healing, it can bring up things that you've been hiding from yourself. Right. But I always say to people, though, it doesn't come up unless you're ready to let go.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so if you're having that experience, no, you can do this, you've got this. Just walk through it, knowing it's temporary, because it wouldn't be coming up if it wasn't your time to let it go.
Makes sense.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. Personal question for you too before I go. I'm supposed to go to LA next week. Is it a good idea or not?
Yeah.
All right, that's all I need to hear.
Thank you, Scott. Okay, we'll do like 2 more. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay, perfect. So as far as conspiracy theories go, there's a lot that are resurfacing. I'm not going to ask you about a specific one, but are you able to tap into them and
like see if they're real?
Right.
What's the conspiracy theory about then?
Oh, I'll tell you what.
Hello, Scott.
Bill and Melinda Gates right now in the paper, and people are like, "This isn't really Bill and Melinda Gates. Bill and Melinda Gates actually died in 2013, and these are their doppelgangers walking on the earth." But what do you think about things like that?
I love it. No, they're aliens, Scott. They're aliens. Did you not watch V?
I totally. That's what I was thinking. Like, you look at the photos of them, I can see them taking off the skin suit, and they're ready to go. That's why they look different right now.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's Trump in a different. It's just Trump in a skin suit. Don't worry about it.
Right now, especially since Corona hit and COVID, like there's so many conspiracy theories around the world of why, who, where, and things like that.
But it's to do with fear, isn't it? It's
Totally.
to do with fear. And the only way that the world is controlled is by fear. And you look at everything, religion, everything, it's all about fear. And I probably have said it to you before, but I just honestly think we're at a crucial point in time where you have to choose, are you going to live in fear, or are you going to live in what we call love and acceptance and enjoying this world? You know, and fear is how to control. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, the last one. I like this one. What is the most rewarding part about being psychic?
About being psychic is when I am able to give something that lets someone else's light turn back on.
Oh.
You know, I work as a coach and a healer, and I blend it all together in my program. And because I'm psychic, you know, a client can sit there and go blah 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 blah, but I will pick up on a key thing and know that's the root of everything. And
Really?
when I then point that out to them and relay it back to them, and they have that light bulb moment that, do you know what, that is actually what the hell is going on here. And they're like, shit, you know. But
Right.
it's like everything, once you know and you accept it, then it's over, because we can deal with it and we can lose it. A bit like the alcoholic. Until you put your hand up and say, I'm an alcoholic, I've got a problem, no matter what anyone else does for you, it won't solve that problem. It's the same kind of thing, is that it's just when you see that light go on and the soul is back.
Sure.
And you can see it in the eyes, you see it in their energy. They come back out of treatments and, you know, they even look different because it's gone. You know?
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so very much.
My pleasure.
Those of you watching, we are doing a Zoom group reading on August 19th. So we're going to have more details coming out about that very shortly. But we're really excited about that too.
Yeah, can't wait.
Actually be able to give a reading to some of these lovely people. So if you're interested in that, comment below, message me, text or call 702-499-5036, message Sam. Any way you want to do it, we'll get you in there. So thank you so very much.
No, my pleasure. Lovely to see you again.
You.
Enjoy your day.
You too. Bye,
Take
everybody.
care.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Take care.